Hey, good morning, guys. Papa Dan here again. Are we ready for some fun? This is where the good stuff starts. Just real quick here, I want to do a quick mail call. We've gotten a few shop cards in the last few days from Vince Weston, Models from the Dungeon. Great card, Vince. I like your little note on the back here. We'll leave that one where it is, but great card. I love that. And then from Charlie Mack, we got his new card. Also a very cool card. I love that big rig on there, Charlie. That is really cool. And then a new member to the community, Pine Needle Customs. And from what I understand, I'm the lucky recipient of one of the very first cards he's put out. But this is Danny. He's located down in Orlando, near Tom and Rick from the Heartbeat Model Shop there in Old Rambler 69. So, anyways, if you're not subscribed to those guys, go check them out. Great channels. Great builds going on there. So, okay, this video is probably going to be a little long because of the fact that it's kind of a tutorial type video, so it's going to run a little longer than what my videos normally run. But I will try and break them up into segments where it makes sense to break them up. I don't want to stop video right in the middle of something just because it's starting to get a little long. So anyways, let's move on so it's not too long. What you're going to need: paintbrush, just any old paintbrush will do. You're going to need your base for the water, which I showed you in my last video. I'm using the styrofoam board here that I got at Home Depot. Now, I just this morning watched a video, and it's the first time that I've heard this, and I have been watching literally hundreds and hundreds of videos on building train tables and building scenery and waterfalls and rivers and lakes and all kinds of stuff. But just this morning I saw the first one that said you should not use styrofoam for a water base. The reason being is that it outgasses over time, and it will start putting bubbles like from underneath into your water, and they in turn will eventually turn black, and it ruins your water. So I don't know. Like I said, I just saw that it's the first time I've seen that in all the videos that I've watched. So I'm going to use it. We'll see what happens. You know, if over time they mean 10, 15 years down the road, I may not be here in 10, 15 years. So anyways, you'll need your base for your water. You need good old white glue, Elmer's good old white glue. And no, I did not go out and buy a whole gallon of this just for this project. I had this left over from previous projects and everything, and it's only got like that much left in it. So, but you'll need some glue. You'll need a container to mix it in, because we're going to do a 50-50 water and glue mixture. And then the main ingredient, and one that I'm sure that it surprised me, so we'll see if it surprises you. Good old TP, toilet paper. I'm not kidding. We are going to make water out of toilet paper. So let me get this camera turned around. I'll get the best camera angle I can. Unfortunately, I'll need both hands for doing this, so I'm not going to be able to hold the camera at the same time. And regardless of what all the girls used to say in high school, I really do only have two hands, so. Anyways, let me get the camera situated here, find the best angle that I can so you guys can see what's going on, and I'll be right back. We are ready to get going here. What I did is I got my water glue mixture here all made up. I went ahead and tore up the some squares of the toilet paper, so that'll save us a little time on video. And as you can also see here, I went ahead and cut some more dowel, the square dowel, and basically I used some of the scraps that I had left over and then cut a few pieces. But anyways, to put into the holes where the dock is going to go, and you'll see why I did that in a few minutes. So that's about the best camera angle I can come up with, so I will try to keep my eye on the viewfinder at the same time to make sure everything I'm doing is in frame. So hopefully this is going to work. Alrighty, the first thing we want to do is just take our glue mixture, our paintbrush, and just start painting it onto the styrofoam. And you don't need to really be careful or anything, or I mean, all you're doing is just getting a good coating of it on there. And I can already see what might be a problem is the way this is beating up on the styrofoam. I was not expecting that. Alright, let's do this. We'll get it on there, and then all you want to do is just place your toilet paper down. So I think what I'm going to have to do is get it good and soaked, and then put the toilet paper on right away. And again, you don't have to be perfect with this. I do want it to go all the way to the edges. We'll put another one, and then once you get it on there, you want to give it another good soaking over the top of it. Now, one of the questions that you may have come up with already, that I know I did when I was watching this guy's video, and the gentleman that I got this from, his YouTube channel name is Markland of Sweden, is where I got this idea from. And one of the things that he mentioned was, if your toilet paper, and I hope you can see this in the video there, but if it's got a design to it, like a lot of toilet paper does, I mean, we're guys, who cares what design is on it, right? But you're probably not going to want that to come out in your water. So all you do is just, when you're putting your toilet paper on, is just dabbing it like I was doing. And I'll show you again here with this next row. But dabbing it with the brush, and that will like erase it. And you do want it slightly overlapped. And again, dabbing it with the brush will erase that overlap so that you won't see that. You won't see the lines in between the pieces of toilet paper. Alright, we got our first layer all down. Going around these little pier here was a little more difficult than what I had anticipated, but that's alright. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around all the edges and just make sure that they're flattened down. I mean, you could tear them off, but I think it's just as easy to make sure that they're flattened down. And then like I was telling you a little earlier, a few minutes ago, you can still see where the individual squares of the toilet paper are all through here. So all you want to do to fix that is to take your brush and you're just going to kind of, like your, what's it called, stippling. And you want to make sure that your toilet paper gets really soaked with this glue and water mixture. And we've got 3 more layers of toilet paper to put on yet. And they're going to go on the same way that this one did, except it'll probably be a whole lot easier. Alright, now when you go to start your second layer, I want to go back up to the top here, and you want to make sure that this is still real wet so that this will soak in, you know, from the bottom, and then we're going to get it from the top again too, just like we just did. Now that it's getting a little thicker, you can kind of see what I mean about this eliminating the lines between the sheets of toilet paper. Hey guys, we are back, and I've got the third layer done. And a couple of observations. I told you at the beginning that we were going to be learning this together. So a couple of observations that I made. Now, Mark, the guy that I was watching his video on doing this technique, he did not actually mention it, but I did go back and check his video real quick. And like I said, he didn't mention it, but he was definitely doing it. Before I went on that little break there, when I was doing the second layer, I don't know if you were able to notice in the camera or not, but you could still see the lines, even though I was, you know, dabbing with the paintbrush and everything. You could still see the lines of the different squares of toilet paper. So what I did with the third layer is I staggered them and I overlapped them more than what I was doing. And that pretty much took care of the problem. So those are gone now. And then what little bit you can see will be taken care of when we paint it. Now the last thing that we want to do while it's still wet is we want to form our waves. Now what Mark did in his video, well, let me back up here just one real quick second. I want to show you something here, if I can get it to show up in the camera. This got a big old piece hanging off there. If you're trying this yourself and you see things like this right here, where it's kind of like a big bubble, you want to get rid of that. You don't want that there, and it's real easy to do. You just take your paintbrush with your glue and water on it and just dab some more. Get it wet again and just dab some more on there, and then that takes care of it real quick. And I'm just about out of glue and water mixture here. Can't believe it took that much. Now the next thing we want to do while this is still wet is we want to start forming our waves. Now what Mark did in his video is he's just started forming them using this, and I'm not in frame, using what he had on here, and he was just kind of taking his paintbrush and just kind of pushing it up in a little semicircle. I hope my hand's not in the way. It is in the way. I'm sorry about that, guys. So I'll point it out to you here in just a second. But I'm right-handed, and that's where the camera's at, is on my right-hand side. So this is what he was doing. He was just kind of taking the brush, and again, I'll try to get this in frame here. He was just kind of taking the brush and just dabbing it like this in like little semicircles to get the wave looking at, in the water. Well, then he made a comment at the end of the video that by the time he got done building up the water effect on this, that he'd lost some of the definition in his waves because of the fact that they weren't built up enough, is the way I understood it. So what I thought I would do is try something a little different to kind of help take care of that. I'm going to take one square of toilet paper. I'm going to put that down just like in a random spot. I'm going to get that wet. And this is so that it's just a little bit thicker, if you will, in this area. Make sure I dab that real good along the edges so that it blends in. And then take a smaller, stiffer brush, and I'll try and do this left-handed so that you can see what I'm doing here. And then just kind of push this up so it's a little thicker than the rest of it, and you're like forming the wave in the water. Now obviously you're going to want all your waves coming from the same direction. There, we'll leave that one like that. We'll take another little piece here. Fold it in half. And I've got the folded side coming toward me, which is the direction that I want the waves coming in, is this way. Coming into, because like where the dock is here, the the beach would be this way. I'm terrible with keeping this in frame. I'm really apologize for that. But we'll put this one down right here, and I'm gonna move it a little bit. So I don't want it right in line with that last one. And this will probably be the last one I'll get out of this glue and water mixture. I'm going to have to make up another little bit of that. So we'll make sure we got that all blended in real good here. Now the other, I think I may have mentioned back at the beginning that one reason I wanted to make sure, or that I decided that I wanted to have the stumps in here, was because of this. Because now I can make sure, you know, what the water is going to look like going up against these, and that way I'll know it's. If I had done it the other way, where I just left them open and then did the water, came back and then actually poked holes in all these, the water would have looked like it was going down like this when I stuck the dock in it. This way, when I pull these out after this dries, the water should be staying up, and it'll look more like the water's going up against the poles of the pier. Well, at least that's what I'm hoping for anyways. So there's another wave. I think I got enough for one more here. And again, I'm just folding one square in half here. And we'll put this one right here. And we'll start dabbing this on. And I think using this extra little piece like this, I think this is going to help in the end, whereas he was talking about losing some of his wave definition. I don't think we're going to see that much of a loss. I mean, I'm sure we will a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be that much, because we've got a much bigger or thicker wave than what he does. Oops, I went a little too deep on that one. That's alright, that's easily fixed. I don't know if you can see that, but I went a little too deep right there, and you can kind of see the styrofoam board. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a little square here, fold that in half, put it down there, this is definitely the end of our glue and water mixture. Okay, we're going to have to stop here, take a pause, and because I got to make some more glue and water mixture, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to make a few more waves on here, and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like when I'm all done, okay? So I'll be right back. Alrighty, we're back again. And let me say real quick first that if you hear the rumblings and everything in the background, no, that's not my stomach. We're having one of our typical afternoon thunder showers here in the sunshine state of Florida. So okay, anyways, we got the waves done, and I got the camera on wiggly wobbly mode here so I could get a little closer and actually show them to you. So, and I happen to have another thought while I was making these last couple of waves. Now, I live on the east side, the east coast of Florida, near Jacksonville. And our beaches are, I mean, I don't go to the beach because I don't swim, but we moved down here in '89, and I think I've been to the beach twice, maybe 3 times at the most. But anyways, I've heard that on the west coast of Florida, that the beaches over there are much clearer, I guess is a way you could put them, and you could actually see the bottom of the ocean going out quite a few feet. So I'm going to try something here. This is all an experiment. Like I said, we're all in this together here, so to speak. We're kind of learning as we go. So this is going to be your water surface once I paint it. Now, what if this area down here, which is right at the end of the dock, plane's going to be up in this area here. So this area would be where it's the shallowest. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and paint this area a little more brown tannish color, and then going into a darker bluish green for this back area here, so that you get the idea that the water is more shallow here, and you're more looking at the sand or the bottom of the ocean, or the bottom of the lake in this case, here, and here it's getting darker and you're seeing more water. So that's what we'll get. We'll give it a shot. We'll see what happens. So anyways, now we got to let this dry overnight. So I think this is a good spot to stop this segment. I'll get this uploaded to YouTube, and then tomorrow we'll start the painting on it, and we'll go from there. Alrighty, so if you hung in this long, I really, really appreciate it. I know this is going to be a long video, but hopefully we all learned something from it. Alright, so thanks guys, and we'll see you on the next segment. Bye.